You know what's terrifying? It's not failing. It's not even the fear of failure. It's waking up one Tuesday afternoon and realizing you can't remember the last time you wanted something badly enough to feel it in your chest. Not a mild preference. Not a "that would be nice." But that old ache. That hunger that used to keep you up at night sketching plans on napkins, that made you rehearse conversations in the shower, that had you Googling flight prices to cities you'd never been at 2 a.m. just to feel the possibility. When did that die? More importantly, did you even notice it was dying? There's this moment that happens in emergency rooms that doctors rarely talk about. It's not the dramatic crash, not the flatline with the frantic scramble. It's quieter. It's when a patient's vitals are technically stable, but something fundamental has shifted. The body is alive, processing, functioning. But the person inside? They've already started negotiating their exit. That's where we are. Collectively. Individually. Right now. We're alive but we're not living. We're processing but we're not creating. We're consuming but we're never satisfied. And the strangest part? We've built an entire infrastructure to make sure we never notice. Think about it. When's the last time you sat with genuine discomfort long enough to let it tell you something true? Not the manufactured anxiety of doom scrolling or the artificial urgency of notifications, but real discomfort. The kind that points to a gap between who you are and who you know you could be. You can't. Because the moment that feeling surfaces, you've got a pocket-sized escape hatch engineered by the smartest behavioral psychologists in Silicon Valley. 3 swipes and you're watching someone else's version of a life, feeling something adjacent to inspiration without any of the commitment it demands. We've created the perfect system for wanting nothing. And here's what nobody's saying out loud: this isn't an accident. This is by design. Not some grand conspiracy. That would almost be comforting, wouldn't it? At least then there'd be someone to fight. No, this is something more insidious. This is the natural endpoint of 1,000 small optimizations, each one making you slightly more comfortable, slightly more distracted, slightly more convinced that the numbness you're feeling is actually contentment. You want to know why you can't answer when someone asks what you really want? It's not because you're confused. It's because you've been systematically trained out of wanting. Every time you reached for something real, something risky, something that might fail spectacularly, there was an easier option. A safer bet. A way to get 90% of the feeling with 10% of the exposure. And you took it. We all did. Because we're not stupid. We're efficient. Except efficiency is a terrible metric for a human life. Look at what we've traded. We wanted freedom from the crushing weight of corporate ladder climbing, from keeping up with the Joneses, from that suffocating race to acquire more square footage and more horsepower. That game was exhausting, hollow, never-ending. So we rebelled. We said no to all of that. And we replaced it with something so much worse. We replaced the race for things with a race for experiences, for uniqueness, for the most aesthetically pleasing version of not caring. We turned rebellion into a brand. We made ennui aspirational. We started competing to see who could be the most detached, the most over it, the most successfully checked out. At least the old game was played on a field where you could see the other players. You knew who you were running with, even if you hated them. There was something almost honest about it. We're all miserable, but at least we're miserable together, and maybe if I work hard enough, my kids won't have to run this race. Now you're running alone in a funhouse mirror maze, competing against filtered, curated, algorithmically optimized versions of people you'll never meet, chasing a finish line that moves every time you get close, and the prize is, what exactly? More followers? A better engagement rate? The temporary dopamine hit of someone you've never met double tapping a picture of your carefully arranged breakfast? This is what we chose. Not because we're weak, not because we're lazy, but because every other option was systematically made more difficult, more expensive, more unrealistic, more exhausting. Want to buy a house? Cool. In most major cities, that'll cost you 50 years of income, assuming you never eat or get sick. Want to start a business? Great. Compete with venture-backed companies that can lose money for a decade while they choke out any real competition. Want to raise a family? Awesome. That'll be your entire income, plus nights and weekends, and you'll still feel like you're failing because everyone else on social media seems to be doing it better with whiter teeth and cleaner kitchens. So what did we do? We downshifted. We settled. We convinced ourselves that wanting less was enlightenment. And you know what's brilliant about that lie? It comes wrapped in wisdom. Minimalism, intentional living, digital nomadism. These aren't just lifestyle choices. They're coping mechanisms branded as revolutions. They're what happens when a generation collectively realizes the game is rigged and decides the only winning move is not to play. Except here's the problem, you're still playing. You're just playing a different game with different rules, and this one is so much more isolating. Because when we all wanted houses and cars and promotions, at least we were delusional together. We could commiserate. We could organize. We could demand better wages, better conditions, better odds. There was a collective understanding that the game sucked, which meant there was collective power to change it. But when everyone's optimizing for their own unique, authentic journey, there's no solidarity in that. There's no movement. There's just 8 billion people on 8 billion separate paths, each one convinced that their particular brand of opting out is somehow more enlightened than everyone else's. You can't organize isolation. You can't build a movement around everyone doing their own thing. And that's exactly how those in power want it. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about politicians here as if they're master strategists. Most of them are just as lost as the rest of us, frantically trying to stay relevant in a world that's shifting faster than any of them can understand. But what they figured out, what they're very, very good at, is this: a divided population is a distracted population. A distracted population is a controllable population. And the easiest way to divide people? Make them afraid. Not of abstract future threats. Of each other. Pick a villain. Doesn't matter who. The immigrants, the elites, the socialists, the corporations, the other political party, the other generation, the other gender, the other religion. Just pick someone and point. Tell people that the reason they can't have what they want, the reason the future feels so impossible, isn't because of systemic issues that would require hard work and cooperation to solve. No, it's because of them. Those people over there. They're taking what's yours. It's so much easier than building something. And here's the sickest part, it works. It works because when you're numb, when you're isolated, when you've spent so long not wanting anything that you've forgotten what desire feels like, anger is the closest thing to passion you can access. It's the only emotion strong enough to cut through the fog. So you chase it. You scroll until you find something that makes you mad. You engage with content designed to enrage you. You join communities built around shared outrage. And for a few minutes, you feel alive. You feel connected. You feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. But you're not building anything. You're not creating anything. You're not moving toward anything. You're just burning. And the fire isn't warming you. It's consuming you. Meanwhile, the actual mechanisms of power, the ones that determine who gets access to resources, opportunity, security, those keep humming along, barely affected by your outrage because your outrage is directed horizontally at other people just as powerless as you, instead of vertically at the systems that benefit from keeping you that way. This is the machine, and you're a part of it. We all are. But here's what keeps me up at night, and here's why I'm telling you this in the bluntest terms I can manage. I don't think most people even recognize they're numb anymore. The anesthesia has been so gradual, so seductive, that we've forgotten what feeling actually feels like. You think you're fine because you're not in acute pain. You've got your Netflix queue. You've got your group chats. You've got your weekend plans and your favorite coffee order and your Spotify playlists that shuffle through just enough variety to feel like discovery without any of the risk of actually encountering something that might change you. You think you're living because you're not dying. But there's a massive space between those two states, and that's where everything interesting happens. That's where growth lives. That's where meaning lives. That's where the version of you that you dimly remember wanting to become actually exists. And you're not there. You're not even close. You're in the waiting room. You've been in the waiting room so long you've convinced yourself it's the destination. You've decorated it. You've made it comfortable. You've invited other people to join you in the waiting room and you all sit together, scrolling, numbing, waiting for something you can't even name anymore. Here's the truth that no motivation video is going to tell you: there is no dramatic moment coming. There's no catalyst. No rock bottom that's going to jolt you into action. No revelation that's going to suddenly make everything clear. That's a movie trope. Real life doesn't work that way. Real life is this: you wake up tomorrow and you're still going to feel the same way you feel today. And the day after that. And the day after that. The numbness doesn't lift on its own. The desire doesn't magically return. The fog doesn't clear because you hit some arbitrary milestone or birthday or life event. It persists. It deepens. It becomes your new normal until you can't even remember what the old normal felt like, and eventually you stop wondering. That's the trajectory. That's where this goes if you do nothing. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, okay, great, super uplifting. What am I supposed to do about it? Here's what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to journal your way out of this. You're not supposed to manifest it. You're not supposed to find your passion or follow your bliss or any of that Instagram therapy bullshit that sounds profound but requires nothing of you. That's more anesthesia. That's the same system that got you here, offering you a branded escape hatch that leads right back to where you started. If you want to feel something real again, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Not the performative discomfort of cold showers and 5 a.m. workouts. Actual discomfort. The kind that makes you question things you've spent years taking for granted. The kind that doesn't have a hashtag. Start here, turn it off. All of it. Not as a cleanse. Not as a challenge. But as an experiment in reality. For 1 week, 7 days, I want you to eliminate every single digital crutch you've been leaning on. No social media. No streaming. No doom scrolling through news you can't affect. No background podcasts. No algorithmic recommendations of any kind. Just you and the uncomfortable silence of your own thoughts. And I promise you, it's going to be awful. You're going to be bored. You're going to be anxious. You're going to reach for your phone 50 times a day and have to consciously stop yourself. You're going to realize how much of your day is structured around avoiding exactly this feeling. That's not a bug. That's the point. Because somewhere in that discomfort, if you sit with it long enough, something else is going to surface. It might take 3 days. It might take 6. But it'll come. A small voice. A tiny ember of wanting something. Not something you think you should want. Not something that would look good to other people. But something true. Something that's been buried under so many layers of distraction and optimization and numbing that you forgot it was there. Maybe it's the desire to build something with your hands. Maybe it's the urge to have a real conversation with someone you've been keeping at arm's length. Maybe it's the buried dream of learning something difficult for no reason other than you want to know it. Maybe it's just the shocking realization that you used to care about things and you want to care again. Whatever it is, listen to it. Don't dismiss it. Don't let the immediate voice of practicality talk you out of it before you've even entertained it. Don't immediately pull out your phone and Google how to start or look for a course or find a community. Just sit with it. Feel it. Let it grow from an ember to a flame before you try to do anything with it. This is what we've lost. This is what the machine has taken from us. The ability to want something for no reason other than the wanting itself. The ability to feel desire that isn't immediately filtered through feasibility or ROI or what other people will think. We've outsourced our wanting to algorithms that show us what we should want based on what people like us have wanted. We've turned desire into data. And in the process, we've killed the part of us that used to dream without permission. Getting that back isn't a weekend project. It's not going to happen because you watched a video or read a book or attended a seminar. It's going to happen slowly, in small moments, when you consciously choose presence over numbing, when you choose real discomfort over fake comfort, when you choose the hard question over the easy distraction. It's going to happen when you stop asking, what should I want, and start asking, what do I actually want? And when you finally get an answer, a real answer, not the one you think you're supposed to give, that's when everything changes. Not because the wanting itself fixes anything, but because the act of wanting, of desiring, of reaching for something beyond your current grasp, that's what makes you human. That's what gives you agency. That's what transforms you from a passive consumer of content into an active participant in your own life. The machine wants you numb. The system wants you distracted. The algorithm wants you scrolling. Your job is to want something more than they want your attention. Your job is to be inconvenient, to be inefficient, to want things that don't make sense on a spreadsheet, to care about things that won't optimize your personal brand, to build things that might fail, to connect with people who might hurt you, to risk looking stupid or naive or uncool. Your job is to be alive in a world that's invested in your sleepwalking. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's harder than staying numb. It's harder than staying safe. It's harder than staying in the waiting room with everyone else who's also convinced themselves that waiting is the same as living. But here's what I know, on your deathbed, you're not going to remember your screen time stats. You're not going to remember how many people liked your posts or how carefully curated your life appeared to strangers on the internet. You're not going to be proud of how successfully you managed to want nothing. You're going to remember the moments when you felt something real. When you wanted something badly enough to risk failing at it. When you connected with someone deeply enough to be hurt by them. When you created something that mattered to you even if it mattered to nobody else. That's what you're trading for the numbness. That's what you're giving up for the comfort of the waiting room. And only you can decide if it's worth it. So I'll leave you with the same question that you probably couldn't answer before you started reading this. What do you want? Not what do you think you should want. Not what would look impressive or make sense to other people. Not what's realistic or practical or achievable. What do you want? Sit with that. Let it scare you. Let it excite you. Let it be ridiculous. Let it be impossible. Let it be something you haven't admitted to yourself in years. And then ask yourself one more question. What's the smallest possible step you could take toward it tomorrow? Not a 5-year plan. Not a complete transformation. Just one small, concrete action that moves you 1 inch closer to feeling alive again. That's where it starts. Not with a revolution. With a choice. One choice. Made consciously. Made repeatedly. Until choosing to feel becomes easier than choosing to numb. The waiting room will always be there. The numbing will always be available. The machine will always welcome you back. But you don't have to stay. You never did.